Hey y'all, my name is Adina Barnett Miller, but I'm known to my students as Mrs. B. I've been passionate about West Virginia history for as long as I can remember, but my mom would tell you it all started when I was 3 years old and she bought me a West Virginia counties puzzle at Gino's Pizza. I've taught history in Ripley, West Virginia for over 20 years now, and I'm an adjunct professor who teaches college West Virginia history to high school students. Please join me for West Virginia History with Mrs. B, a field trip across the Mountain State to walk in the footsteps of those who came before us. Hey y'all, it's West Virginia History with Mrs. B, coming to you from the Don Chafin house here on Main Street in Logan, West Virginia. And we're going to head up on the porch and talk a little bit about who the heck Don Chafin is and why he's one of the most notorious people in all of West Virginia history. Alright, so we're on the porch of the Don Chafin house here in Logan, West Virginia, and you might be asking yourself, who is Don Chafin and why do I need to know who Don Chafin is? Don Chafin was one of 11 kids. He went to college at Marshall College, now university, and he moved back to the Southern Coalfields. And by the time he was 21 years old, he was already an elected official of Logan County. So he started as assessor. And so he was looking upward, and he wanted the most powerful job in Logan County. And if you know West Virginia history and you know West Virginia politics, the most powerful person in a county is your sheriff. And nowadays, sheriffs can only serve 2 terms ever, and then they're done. But back in Don's day, you could serve 1 term, sit out, then serve another term. So after Don was assessor, he ran for sheriff and won. So he served his 4-year term. He continued to work in politics, got his father-in-law to run for sheriff, and basically became his father-in-law was de facto placeholder for him. His father-in-law served for 4 years, and then guess what? Don got elected sheriff again in 1920. The reason that's really important is because from the period of time from 1920 to 1922, the Southern Coalfields are going to experience a lot of bloodshed, a lot of violence, in what we call the West Virginia Mine Wars. Well, in my opinion, Don Chafin may be the most notorious figure in all of the mine wars. So Don Chafin made a good living, had a really nice house here in Logan. But how Don Chafin made the bulk of his money is he was on the payroll of pretty much every coal company operating in Logan County. And they paid him to keep the peace. So not only did they pay him, I think it was over $2,000 a month in 1920s money to keep the peace, they also gave him the ability to deputize people living in Logan County to basically serve as security guards for the mine companies. So in 1922, when the mine wars break out, Don hears that there are tens of thousands of miners who are marching towards Mingo County. Their goal was to get to Mingo County to avenge the death of Sid Hatfield. Don hears about it and he says, not over my county. So what ends up happening is the miners are going to march through. They start at Marmet, they come through Racine over to Danville, and then they march towards Logan. They're trying to get to Logan and then get to Mingo County. Don will go and deputize thousands of local Logan Countyans to fight on behalf of the coal companies. And so they get stopped out of town at a place called Blair Mountain, and the Battle of Blair Mountain takes place. It is bloody. Miners are going to die. Citizens of Logan County are going to die. Don even goes so far that he pays local people here in Logan County to create their own explosive devices, and then they send them out from the local airfield, and they go drop bombs on the miners up on Blair Mountain. We're going to talk more about Blair Mountain in subsequent videos, but Don Chafin is, in my opinion, the most notorious figure in this whole story, and one of the most infamous people in all of West Virginia history. Don goes on to live a long life. He ends up in jail later down in Georgia in the 1920s, and it had nothing to do with the mine wars. He got away scot-free when it came to the mine wars. What he ended up getting in trouble for was he broke Prohibition laws. He'll later in life live in Huntington, West Virginia. From what I understand, he was a very philanthropic kind of individual. He donated to charities, and I'm sure part of that had to do with the fact that he took blood money from the coal companies here in Logan County. So Don is quite an infamous individual. He's someone that I struggle with when it comes to teaching West Virginia history, but I think it's important that we tell the truth. When you're an elected official, you have options. Do you stand for the people, or do you stand for corporations in your community? And Don chose to stand with the fat cats at the coal companies instead of standing with the people of Boone, Logan, and Mingo counties. Okay, we're going to give you a tour of downtown Logan as we're leaving Don Chafin's house. Want to keep going?
I could go on another block.
Yeah. The amount of wealth that existed at one time in this town is pretty just unbelievable. Here's the Logan County Courthouse. That just looks like an office building. And there's the front sign. It says Logan County Courthouse. I think this is probably their courthouse annex. Oh look, they got a People's Bank in Logan. This place right here is supposed to be awesome. New Era Bakery. Thanks y'all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to West Virginia History with Mrs. B on both Facebook and YouTube.